Sectional number 15 at New Albany, Seymour taking on number 10 Jennings County. Jennings County beat Seymour 68-62 on December the 4th. Game number 2 of sectional 15 features Floyd Central and Jeffersonville. Those winners will play on Friday night, game 1, followed by Bedford North Lawrence and New Albany. And in sectional number 16 at Evansville Central, game 1. This one on Tuesday night, Evansville Wrights taking on Evansville North. Game number 1 on Friday night, we'll have Evansville Central playing Castle, and Evansville Harrison plays the Evansville Wrights Evansville North winner. Pat McKee, tell me about 4A South sectional matchups, games or sectionals that immediately jump out at you in the pairings.
Well, I think one of the sectionals that really jumps out is number 15. Every team in there has a winning record. You talked about balance and parity before, and clearly that's evident there. Jennings County and Seymour are probably the front runners, but, I think that's one's really up in the air. Anybody could win that.
Well, you know what? The other part, too, is sectional 14, and you could just, as you go through this, you look at it. It's at Columbus East. They're number 12, runners-up a year ago. They play Bloomington North. North beat them earlier in the year. And if you win that game, you get a chance to play number 8 Bloomington South in the second game on Friday night. So literally the three, if you will, the three ranked teams, so to speak, all bracketed against one another.
Yeah, the lower half there is definitely loaded. Bloomington South is probably the favorite, but you can't count out Columbus East with experience. And then, of course, Bloomington North has Alex Guyton, a Purdue recruit. And, they've had a good experience, and it could be a rivalry game with Bloomington North and Bloomington South.
I think one of the things that jumps out at you when you look at 4A South is that whole balance situation. I mean, you look at sectional 10 at Arlington. You have 4 teams with winning records. You look at sectional number 11 at Southport. You have a very similar circumstance with 5 teams with winning records. I mean, how do you pick them in these types of sectionals?
Well, I think, you just have a large number of competitive teams. In the quadrant that includes sectionals 9, 10, 11, and 12, you've got 10 teams in the top 30 in the Sagarin ratings. I think that shows you the power of that particular quadrant. The last 4 sectionals have 5 additional teams in the top 30 of the Sagarin ratings. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Well, you look at a New Albany sectional, everybody in it has a winning record.
Well, that's where we started.
You talk about parity and you go back to it, it seems to be just not there, but throughout all of the South it would appear in 4A.
Yeah, I think you just have a lot of good teams, and I'm not sure there's beyond Ben Davis, which has really done very well this year. North Central, Lawrence North, Carmel have also played pretty well at stretches, but beyond those teams, I'm not sure that there's the teams that we maybe have seen in the past that were totally dominant, although maybe Ben Davis is that caliber. I guess we'll find out.
Pat McKee and I will come back for some final thoughts as we wrap up a great night of basketball here in downtown Indianapolis. You're listening to the Indiana High School Girls Basketball Tournament Pairing Show on the IHSAA Methodist Sports Medicine Championship Radio Network, brought to you in part by Methodist Sports Medicine, the official sports medicine provider of the IHSAA. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Bob Lovell, alongside Pat McKee. Goes quickly. It really does. But some fun things. General thoughts about it. I mean, we can probably say the same thing every year, but there will be some tremendous matchups coming up next week.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the beauty of the tournament. I mean, it's that time of year. You peak for this part of the season. The regular season is important, but it's a preparation for the postseason, and that's what people are going to remember 10, 15, and 20 years from now.
The games this week, obviously hard to focus, but it's important to keep momentum and head in. We also talk about this concept of the difficulty of repeating. Heritage Christian has won 2 in a row, and they would be in some rarefied air if they're able to get 3 in the 2A championship.
Absolutely. Repeating is difficult. Being an undefeated champion is difficult. Oregon Davis is trying to do both. Heritage is trying for its 3rd in a row. South Bend, Washington would have a legitimate chance for a repeat championship as well. We've got lots of storylines to look at here, and it's going to be fun to see it unfold.
The storylines, too, will be those ones that we haven't talked about tonight, the upsets, the great play, the difficult situations that some of the kids have to overcome, and I think that's what makes it so much fun is all of that's about to unfold.
Well, and you've got great players, too, and not every team has great players, but they have good players, and some teams have great players and maybe not quite the supporting cast, and you have all these things meshed together to make for an interesting tournament.
He's Pat McKee from the Indianapolis Star. Pat, thank you so much. All the sectional brackets are now available online at ihsasports.org, and go there and download them right now. That's your order. You can download them right now. They'll also be on IHSAAsports.org, IHSAA.org. Our thanks to the commissioner of the IHSAA, Blake Ress, and his staff. A special thank you to Chris Kaufman and Jason Willey for all the info and what they do. I also want to thank our producer, director, Celeste Gennon, Amy Harper, Julie Illenfelt. Great job on the technical side. They are the best. My thanks also to Rob Nichols, Ira Mayer, and Nikki Grotenheis, and Scotty Johnston is absolutely the best at what he does. We cannot do something like this without the great efforts of a lot of people. I'm Bob Lovell. Make sure you get out and enjoy all the tournament action throughout the year. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks to all of you for being with us for the IHSA Girls Basketball Tournament Pairing Show on the IHSA Methodist Sports Medicine Championship Radio Network and IHSAsports.org.